This video is for people who have experienced parental alienation as the estranged parent. You won't need me to tell you the consequences and explain the devastation that it causes, but I am here to tell you how to resolve the issue and what you can do to bring your case into a criminal court. Because parental alienation, no matter how much you flower it up and give it a nice title or whatever, the truth is that it is mental and psychological, emotional abuse of a child. And this is how it works. When you engage a child into a conversation about character assassination of the estranged parent, the child might join in with your conversation, and they might even add little bits to it to say, oh well, he did this or he did that, whatever. And then the consequence of that is that the child will feel embarrassed to face the estranged parent, knowing full well what they did and said about them. There's a book, Chronic Shame. De Young, I think they call the author, and I'll put it in the description below, and it describes the feeling that children get when they've done something bad against someone they love very dearly, and they feel guilty for that. They feel chronically shameful, chronic shame. It's also caused remorse, chronic remorse or severe remorse for having said and done those things. And you can relate to this. I think everybody, whether they've experienced this or not, but everybody can relate to perhaps they get engaged in a conversation about someone that they previously thought quite highly of them. And then all of a sudden, having engaged in this conversation, they maybe feel a wee bit, more than a wee bit, embarrassed about talking to them with a clear conscience. When I was a youth worker, I was a professional youth worker in Bradford, and one of the things that I often told children when they say, oh no, my dad abandoned me. No, he probably didn't. He would have probably been arrested if he'd hung about and tried to see you. That's not the same as abandoning you. That's alienation. Your parent has been alienated so that you will not try to get in touch with him, and so that you will stop loving him. And then chances are there'll be another man will come into your home, move in, and they'll say to you, call me Dad. Because that way, if anything goes wrong and you start leaving any bruises or anything, when you go to school, teachers will say, who did that to you? And you can say, my dad did it. So even though the parent is not there, there are many, many, many crimes that have been accused, where fathers have been accused when they weren't even there. I can vouch for that one. This is why a lot of these offenders, who I used to work with, by the way, for the probation service, West Yorkshire Probation Service, and I interviewed several. And for my research, I interviewed about 38 altogether. But I can assure you, they're laughing at social services, they laugh at social workers, they laugh at the media, the way they portray estranged fathers, and they laugh at these charities and the local authorities that get rid of the father, get the father well removed from a child's life. They don't give a damn for what the consequences might be to the child. The grooming gangs in Bradford, for example, they knew which children had lost a parent. They knew which children, they knew all the details of every child who had lost, usually, the father.